Welcome to another Tempo Storm Meta Snapshot breakdown. Murder at Castle Nathria is right around the corner, and we couldn't be more excited. The new cards look crazy and are sure to shake up the standard metagame. We can't wait to explore how things will look with you, but there's still some time left in this meta, and we want to help you get those last-minute ranks. So as always, check out our website over at tempostorm.com for a full review of the standard meta. And while you're at it, please be sure to subscribe to our channel here at Tempo Strategy to be kept up to date with all of our content. Now, let's begin. Leading off tier 1 is, once again, Murloc Control Shaman. This deck is still thriving in a meta where many decks play for board, thanks to Snowfall Guardian. Using Gorlock to cycle, Snowfall to stall, and Bloodlust to close out games, this deck really has it all. Shaman has a pretty consistent matchup spread, with its best matchup coming from Beast Druid. They can't really deal with all of your stall tools. But decks with access to a lot of largely RNG-based cards, such as Big Spell Mage, can be hard to play around. The next deck making an appearance in tier 1 is Thief Rogue. This deck continues to be one of the most consistent choices for ladder, refusing to leave the top of the meta. Players continue to experiment with both the 30 and 40 card lists, with the smaller option typically winning out in popularity. Thief Rogue aims to develop a large board using cards such as Vessel, with a card generation engine to get out of pesky game states. Thief Rogue once again does best when playing against greedy decks such as Big Spell Mage, or board-based ones like Beast Druid. You have the tools to take board aggressively and the value generation to compete with late game threats. The last deck we're looking at in tier 1 is Big Beast Hunter. This archetype is seriously fun to play. Who doesn't love King Crush? While the deck can feel a bit infuriating to face, thanks to the random recruit mechanics, playing it leaves you feeling powerful as you summon Hydrolodon on turn 4 or 5, making it seriously unique. Big Beast Hunter is one of the best decks against Thief Rogue, making it a solid choice for ladder if you continue to see the RNG fest of a class. On the other hand, Murloc Control Shaman is hard for you to face off against, as the constant freeze effects can often leave you board locked, rendering you useless against their large freeze minions. Too many players surprised, tier 2 actually features only 3 decks this patch, making it the same size as its first tier counterpart. This is partly due to the top decks all being relatively the same in power level, and also partly due to the rest of the tiers feeling much weaker. The slot machine deck itself, Big Spell Mage, once again makes its return, but this time in tier 2 instead of in the first. This deck is pretty much all over the ladder despite its power level being a bit lower, with players continuing to love their random generation effects. Big Spell Mage is the premium deck to play if you like scamming games, with Rune of the Archmage being a prime offender. While this deck may struggle in select matchups, it beats up on the best ladder deck at the moment, leaving it as a solid choice for those looking to counter the meta. On the flip side, Thief Rogue is a deck that can not only pressure you early, but also out-random you, making it a fairly rough matchup for Jaina to navigate. The second deck we'll see in tier 2 is Quest Hunter. This combo-based hunter deck has seen a sudden resurgence in popularity, cementing itself as not only one of the newer ladder decks, but also one of the most fun. Much like previous metas, the deck aims to finish its quest by chucking spells at their opponent and their minions, then closing the game out using burn spells. Cards like Prince Renathal have given you enough stall to prolong the game for you to reach these points. This deck's best matchup comes from Thief Rogue and Big Spell Mage, leaving it as a premium counter to both random-filled decks. If you love having fun but hate when your opponent gets to, this may be the deck for you. The last deck that we're taking a look at is Beast Druid. This archetype continues to be one of the only aggro decks left in the meta, and it has been doing its best to keep the strategy alive. Beast Druid continues to play out like it used to, swarming the board early with cheap minions, then using buffs to close out the game or get in chip damage. The archetype can be surprisingly difficult at times, thanks to how many decision points are hidden behind what minion you play each turn. A good Beast Druid player can be terrifying, so learning this deck will give you an edge against a lot of players. This archetype finds itself struggling against the majority of tier 1 and 2, with Quest Hunter being the exception. This goes to show how poorly aggro decks are lined up in the meta currently, but regardless, Beast Hunter is a great choice for those trying to gain an edge against decks that fall within tier 3 or below. And that concludes our Tempo Storm Meta Snapshot. We hope you enjoyed our last look into the standard meta before the new set releases in August. We couldn't be more excited to help solve the murder at Castle Nathria, and hope you'll join us on our adventure. If you enjoyed this Meta Snapshot breakdown, please be sure to leave a like on the video and to subscribe for more Hearthstone and strategy game content. We'll see you next time, detectives!